Greetings, lobotomites. I regret to inform you that the rest of this video is going to contain nothing but me talking about the build. I will not be on the screen the entire time. There will be some more footage of the build's performance, but I will be talking over it all the way through. By continuing to watch this video, you explicitly consent to having your ears and sanity
violated
by my ramblings. I see you're still here. That's good to know. Let's begin. First, what is this abomination, and why is his name Julius Cortex, the Neo-Barbarian? Well, here is a character known as Julius Reinhold. Julius is a 200-kilogram steroid beast from Germany, and he is supposed to represent the Yor of Sledgehammer meta. Pure strength, Balor's hammer. Oh, vitality powder. Fuck.
Techniques are rubbish in the face of overwhelming power.
But then, from the bowels of unbridled autism came the Hellspawn, Dex Hammer, an actual build with close to 100% critical rate. With a hammer. This creation of extreme min-maxing is personified in this meme edit of drastically slimmed down Julius, who traded his muscles off for quick fingers, nimbleness, and chronic carpal tunnel. Overwhelming power is rubbish in the face of crit fuckery. And then the anniversary update rolled out, compelling Julius to change his mind once again, but this time, literally. His muscles deflated, his brain bulging with inconceivable wisdom, he muses in his lonely cell. Women are scarier than Magnar. And thus, the evolution of the Sledgehammer meta was complete, with a final, true form of what all Sledgehammer builds have always been meant to be, the Neo-Barbarian. This is it for superficial flavor. The build's functional foundation is of course high technicalities. The moment I saw this feat now applying to melee weapons, I immediately yearned for a build centered specifically on secondary, non-mechanical damage. A build that whacks enemies not to crush them with sheer impact, but purely to deliver lethal current. For that reason, the build has only just enough strength to meet a Sledgehammer's requirement, as well as 13 agility for blitz and expert sprint, in order to maximize the number of hits and consequently the rate of electric damage, which at 16 intelligence hits more than twice as hard. Above all else, Neo-Barbarian is critless, to ensure that no sudden spikes in mechanical damage could interfere with the build's shock value. Wielding a crude meso offense in a highly sophisticated manner, that's the core of what it means to be a Neo-Barbarian. But why Neo instead of Techno? While mulling over how to brand the build, I happened to think of Neo Cortex, which is how Julius Reinhold became Julius Cortex, and also how Neo ended up sticking. Another thing about the build is that Neo-Barbarian is actually a modification of the Agile Hammer build I made a while ago, but never intended to play. My biggest gripe with it was that, without Fatal Throw, which I didn't want to include, the build was just one action point off of throwing 10 Sledgehammer swings in a single turn. But now, with Pummel's cooldown reduced to just one turn, I could premeditate Temporal Increment and pummel twice in a single turn, reaching the 10 hammer swings in this fashion. Another reason for why it had to be a hammer is because hammers provide the highest non-mechanical damage per hit of any weapon. Even a high-quality energy edge spear can barely compete, and the higher the base value, the more impressive it is going to look once boosted by high technicalities. What I find to be extremely cool about this build, or this new intelligent build direction in general, is the way it scales. Due to faster leveling and obscene crafting values, Neo-Barbarian peaks much earlier than an ordinary build would, in exchange for having an overall lower power ceiling. A normal build may have a higher ceiling and a more even power curve, but will now take way longer to get to the point of crafting endgame gear, or may even be locked out of it, which is an engaging trade-off. Prioritize raw damage at the expense of everything else, and you might just be forced to settle for equipment that won't be quite top of the line. Spread yourself more evenly, and you might be able to make up for lower damage with equipment quality, from which you will also get to benefit more thanks to high technicalities and extra specialization points. Learn faster, craft better, and rely on technology over brute force. All of this is bursting with a flavor of high intelligence, and I love it. Reminds me a bit of
Enlightenment.
skill in Heroes 5. In that game, not only does an esteemed scholar get to level faster and more than an uncouth peasant, but he also gets to utilize those levels much more efficiently due to gaining bonus stats from them. This overall concept of the more you know, the more you understand how to make much better use of all that you know is amazing, and I'm really hoping to see it further developed in Fusion. Since we are on the subject of stats, 8, 13, 16 is obviously more of a nosedive into flavor than a perfectly optimized distribution. Something like 13, 13, 10 or 16, 10, 10 is bound to make for a stronger build, not to mention lifting the self-imposed ban on crits. There is one thing about stats, however, which you will immediately see if you try assembling Neo-Barbarian in the builder. You cannot do it. You are one base ability point off, because this version of Neo-Barbarian requires the new agility booster item in order to be able to learn expert sprint. This is, by the way, related to one and only thing I would change about the build. Go 14 int and 12 agility, consume agility booster, then take expert sprint on level 26 and increased intelligence on level 28. What I did was pump int all the way to 16, forcing me to take increased agility before expert sprint, which is likely less optimal. The remaining feats should be self-explanatory. Despite having 30 specialization points, Neo-Barbarian only needs 14. How to allocate the rest is up to you and your autism, and personally I maxed Pummel's damage spec. If I'm already using it for free each turn, might as well bring it as close to a full powered hammer swing as possible. Regarding gear, as I am free from the tyranny of critical hits, I have no obligation to wear a smelly infused Red Hound, opting instead for an even smellier Red Hound regalia. Initially I was planning to wear an infused hopper for higher mobility, but ultimately decided that +1 strength from the regalia would serve me better, as my hit chances could look pretty sad at 8 base strength. But boots are actually infused hopper tubbies, as sprint usage is vital for Neo-Barbarian. The rest is really obvious, so figure it out yourself. One thing I will still point out is that although the build isn't reliant on them in the slightest, I still did end up using Cax a lot for thematic purposes. But how did I get to have such a copious supply of Cax though? As the legend has it, if you approach 6 with exactly 6 sheets in your inventory and nothing else, leave the game idle in that state and go to sleep. In a dream, you shall be visited by a dark entity. If you address the entity by its true, blasphemous name,
Stig-Nigroth,
and pledge your eternal servitude to it, in the morning you will have soiled the bed profusely. More importantly, 6 and the Cax you had will be gone, and in their place there will be a single self-replicating sheet which will keep supplying you with Cax forever. Yeah. Jokes aside, it would be really nice to finally get a way to acquire Cax without Freak's involvement, such as if a highly intelligent character could figure out how to reverse engineer them, or some such. Sure, I could always use the cheat engine to multiply the sheets manually, but I prefer to do illegal things legally, which is why, please, allow me to date my craft Cax, create them myself. Yes, that's what I meant to say, and nothing else.
FBI, open up!
Hi, I'm kind of on the run right now, so I'll be brief. First, thank you for watching all the way to the end. Love ya. Second, what do you think of these kind of inclusions in the videos? They didn't serve much purpose this time, I was just limit testing, but nonetheless, would you like dinner, Underrail footage, or me? let me know. Bye bye.